To graph the tangent function, we need to look at the graphs of the sine and the cosine function. So here we have the sine function in red, and we have the cosine function in blue. We need these because the tangent is equal to the sine divided by the cosine. So we're first going to look at a few key points here. First of all, anytime cosine is 0, okay, the tangent will be undefined. So that's when the blue touches the x-axis, okay? And at those points, we are going to have an asymptote. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch an asymptote any time that the cosine is equal to 0. Okay, that's at pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and every pi after that. Okay, and then of course also the negatives. So we're going to have these asymptotes, and then we can find some other key points. When sine is equal to 0, we're going to have 0 over something which is 0. Okay? So when the red graph touches the x-axis, we'll have 0 divided by something. It's going to be 0. So we're going to have a point here, 0, and here, 0, and here. From here, we will think about what happens as we move along the function. We're going to look at this part here between the negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2. Here, to the right of this x-intercept, we have positive values of sine divided by positive values of cosine. And when they are equal, we're going to get 1, right? Something divided by itself is 1. So we're going to have right here equal to 1. And as we move further to the right, the sine value is larger than the cosine, and when you divide by smaller and smaller things, you get larger and larger. So it's actually going to go up and follow that asymptote there to the right. Let me try and do that a little bit smoother. Okay. And then to the left here, we have negative values divided by positive, which is negative. But again, we're taking a number and dividing by something close to 0, so that's gonna follow the asymptote down there. Now, in this next section over here between negative 3 pi over 2 and negative pi over 2, to the right of this intercept, both our sine and our cosine are negative. Okay, so we are going to have a negative divided by negative, which is positive. Okay? And when they are equal to each other, we're going to have 1. So we're going to have that same type of behavior here on the right. And then on the left, we have, again, a positive divided by a negative, which is going to be negative. And so it's going to give us this thing right here. And we can see this curve right here, it just repeats, okay, over and over again for our tangent graph. So this in black is the graph of the tangent function. We see that it has a period of pi. It has x-intercepts halfway between our asymptotes, which are at pi over 2 plus every multiple of pi. And it's got this key point here up at 1 when the sine and the cosine are equal to each other. So at pi over 4, or at negative pi over 4, it would be negative 1.